Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Versus Games January League Cup here in Oviedo, Florida. I am back. I'm Joe Carlino. I am joined by my friend, the Dodrio Master himself, Jonathan Martin.
Hello.
Jonathan, hello, man. It is so good to see you.
It is good to be back. I was really happy casting with Adi, after my run. And honestly, I'm back to be on this desk for top 4. Honestly, this local has been phenomenal.
It has been absolutely phenomenal for the 10-year celebration of Florida VGC.
Yeah, this is old. This scene is old. That's crazy.
And especially the fact that we've only been in the scene for 2-3 years.
I've been in the scene only for a year.
Okay, fair enough. I'm older than you.
Yeah, I'm baby here. But let's talk about the bracket.
We have to talk about the bracket because we have upsets across the board. Our top 4 seeds all got eliminated.
That's hilarious. Honestly, to be fair, this is a stacked local, so it makes a lot of sense why being top 4 does not matter. We did see Kerry Torna get thrown by Christopher Baez, a very up-and-coming player that recently did get day 2 at Toronto Regional.
I believe you also got day 2 at Toronto Regional.
Yes, I did alongside of him, but he is going to be facing off against Sean Binnick, who we did have on stream earlier today with that Maridon team that was from Worlds, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But we are going to have, I think our top 4 is going to be Matthew and Austin Litowski.
It is. It's going to be Matt Laughlin, a Tampa native, a Tampa local goer, and he is also a very good player in this community. He's been around, I believe, since the Sword and Shield days. And Austin, I believe he's been around since the Sword and Shield days. I could be completely wrong on that myself.
Yeah, he's been here for a while. He plays the game every so often. But let's look at a little bit of the teams because we are going to be seeing that horse versus the fish.
Oh my God, we get a horse versus a fish.
This is honestly something you honestly don't see a lot. Kyogre recently obviously having that finalist finish at Birmingham, but Calyrex Shadow Rider has been a very interesting point of going up and down the entire time. And let's take a look at what Matthew is running, because this is not only your very similar balanced CSR, but CSR is running that Citrus Berry, Terra Fairy, and that's a Thundurus.
Yeah, that's a Thundurus. That is a Taunt, Eerie Impulse, Thunder Wave Thundurus with Thunderbolt.
Honestly, that's actually going to be very important going into the Kyogre. The Mon that wants to not only land it moves, but also not lose a lot of HP or its special attack. And this is Austin's Kyogre's team. Chien-Pao Dragonite onto the fish is honestly impressive.
It is. And also, we have seen a couple of multi-scaled Choice Band Dragonites next to Chien-Pao in this tournament, most notably ran by Christopher Baez against Kerry Diartona. But Austin Litowski, he's got the Inner Focus Choice Band Terra Normal Dragonite next to Chien-Pao. Jonathan, are we on Regulation C again?
No, we are not. And the fact that Pao Knight is coming up and down could be partially my fault, because fun fact, I kind of helped him out a little bit with the team.
Oh my God, you helped him?
Yeah, I'm Mr. Strategy.
Oh man, this is crazy. Oh, but this is going to be great because we have a 6 seed versus a 7 seed. We have the 5 seed versus the 8 seed. 2 of our seeds are going to be moving on. Is it going to be Matthew Laughlin or is it going to be Austin Litowski?
Honestly, this is going to be very interesting to see both of these players out. Austin has been using this fish for quite a bit, getting him that day 2 in Indianapolis last season, and Matthew's been a little bit out of the scene, but he's been coming back, and being able to get this top 4 is impressive, and I cannot wait to see this gameplay.
And we see Austin leading with that Chien-Pao and Dragonite versus an Incineroar and an Urshifu Rapid Strike here. Now, what's important to note here is the Sword of Ruin does activate and lower the defense by 25%, but this Intimidate will not work on the Dragonite due to that Inner Focus.
Yes, because of Inner Focus's recent changes, its immune to the Intimidates, but being able to just have that fake out pressure and Urshifu next to the field is actually very good for him, because he's able to, because now Matthew's able to kind of make Austin question if he's going to go into the Chien-Pao, and if so, is he going to Terra? And if not, then that Urshifu could just strike away and be able to pick up that knockout.
Exactly, and also the Chien-Pao on Austin's side is Terra Ghost, so in theory, Matthew could potentially go for a fake out into the Chien-Pao, but it could go Terra Ghost, but we do see a switch out on the Chien-Pao into the Urshifu Rapid Strike here, and also a switch out on the Dragonite too.
Double switch out?
Into Lil Guppy. That is going to be the Kyogre. The Kyogre is on the field.
That is the GOAT Kyogre. I feel like I'm a little bit biased right now because, but besides
well, I mean, it's a fish. It's a nice big fish.
Yeah, you're right. Little Guppy is a great name name for the fish, but we do see the instant Terrasilize into that Terra Ghost. Very good for him, being able to not only dodge the extreme speeds from the Dragonite, but also be able to not be taking that super effective damage from the Kyogre. We do see Urshifu protect on a turn of just no damage being out.
But more importantly, the Will-O-Wisp, an 85% accurate move. It hits the Kyogre. Now, while Kyogre is normally a special attacker, getting that burn damage is very important because it just whittles away at your health.
It will be whittling away at the health of Kyogre, making the water spout a little bit weaker, but I don't think Austin's gonna care, especially with this position of having that Urshifu next to it, and I believe it is Scarf, which it is, so it's gonna be able to go first and do massive amount of damage. And I just don't think, I think Austin's in the front foot. He could just press the gas and start like doing a massive amount of damage, and we get to see that with the Surging Strikes into the Incineroar. Because it's Terra Ghost, it's not going to be able to knock out, but it's going to do more than half.
It's going to do more than half here, bringing it down to 65 HP. That's just over 70%, but just below 75. And we see a Surging Strikes go into Austin's Urshifu in exchange. So both bears are just taking advantage of this rain-boosted Surging Strikes.
Yep, exactly.
Hits.
They just love being able to kick and do that massive amount of damage. But I'm surprised Matthew did not go into the Kyogre slot. But it's going for Origin Pulse, that's why.
And it hit both. It hit both on the Origin Pulse. That is important to note, that it hit both. But more importantly, Incineroar is down, so not only do you lose your Intimidate, you lost your Fake Out, and you lost your Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Matthew. He's gonna have to adapt. But we do get to see that he has the Clefairy and the CSR, so thankfully he's able to do a little bit of damage just because of the ranges they are in. And Calyrex is coming out to the field, and honestly, I think it might be going for a Nasty Plot, or at least trying to just do an Astral Barrage to just possibly pick up the KO.
It could, but the other thing we have to note here is that if it goes for any attack right now, especially with Chien-Pao in the back, Chien-Pao has that Sucker Punch because Incineroar used the Terra Ghost. Calyrex is now 4 times weak to that Dark move on the Chien-Pao.
You're right, and if Austin's able to position that well and be able to just pressure the CSR before Clefairy comes out to the field, I just think he's going to be able to take advantage of that. We do see the Kyogre backing out, returning to its trainer, and we get to see, I believe that's Dragon. No, it's the Chien-Pao being able to add a Swords of Ruin, and because Urshifu's faster, it's get to do a massive amount of damage. And I think that's dead.
This might be close here to 51. It is not going to be close.
Oh, wait, there's a Sitrus.
The Sitrus Berry is going to allow the Calyrex to survive.
It's going to be able to live, I think, on possibly 20 HP. 17! That is close enough. This CSR is living.
Jonathan, you need to go get yourself a lottery ticket. Go play the Poké Lotto ID. You might get a Master Ball for that.
Yeah.
But now, Urshifu is down. The Choice Scarf is down. Dragonite is still in the back, as is the Kyogre. But Austin still has that Terrastalization left.
Oh, and with Urshifu going into that Chien-Pao, he's just going to be up to that Dragonite and that Kyogre, which are both slower than CSR. And with CSR being +1, I just don't know what Austin could do. Possibly go for that E-Speed with Dragonite, but if he's not able to knock out that CSR, that E-Speed's not going to be able to do any damage to CSR.
But what's also important to note here is that if Dragonite Terrastalizes into the Terra Normal here, Dragonite will be immune to Astral Barrage.
You're right. Austin has not used his Terrastalization. That is something up his sleeve. And honestly, if he loses either one of these pieces before Clefairy comes in, I don't know what Matthew's going to be able to do.
I don't either, but we also have to note that Dragonite is still weak to the Draining Kisses right now from Calyrex, and Dragonite could take massive amounts of damage here from a Draining Kiss.
We do see that Terrastalization coming in from Austin's side, and it is going to be that Terra Normal Dragonite being able to be immune to the Astral Barrage, but if Matthew click Close Combat into that slot, that Dragonite is going to go bye-bye.
We do see a Protect come out on the side of Calyrex here on Matthew Laughlin's side, and it is just an extreme speed into this Urshifu Rapid Strike. But more importantly, the Dragonite is locked in to that Choice Banded extreme speed.
Yep.
So Calyrex, in theory, can go after the Kyogre here potentially, and work its magic around. However, the rain, I believe there's still a couple more turns left of the rain, and that could be the difference with this Origin Pulse.
Yeah.
However, in comes Clefairy, and Clefairy's ability, Friend Guard, will negate damage by 25%. I'm not sure if a Draining Kiss with the Friend Guard could potentially allow Calyrex to survive an Origin Pulse in the rain.
I don't think so, but more importantly, even Friend Guard is not going to be able to save it, but what can Clefairy do is give it a helping hand to boost that Astral Barrage, to give it, with its +1 already, it might be able to do enough damage to the Kyogre, but we are going to find out, because this Kyogre is a little bit bulky, if I'm not mistaken, but it's going for Protect.
It goes for the Protect here, just trying to scout what happens. But the Dragonite goes for that Choice Band at Extreme Speed once again, and Clefairy goes just under 50% health, but the Astral Barrage will not affect the Kyogre due to the Protect, and will not affect the Dragonite because of that normal typing.
It looks like the rain is going to stop as well, and honestly, I'm looking at this positioning a bit more. I think the only way for Matthew to be able to come back from this would be a mess up on Austin's side. We do get to see the helping hand again. Matthew is going to try to see if he can pick up the KO with Astral Barrage, but that Dragonite is going to remove the Clefairy with E-Speed, knocking it out, and it just comes down to this Kyogre living a hit.
And if it does live that hit, then Kyogre will come down to if it hits the Origin Pulse.
It might not even need the Origin Pulse because of Calyrex Shadow Rider being low, but Astral Barrage going in, and the fish goes
Kyogre is
down.
That helping hand adds the extra power that Matthew needed to get that KO on the Kyogre, and now this Dragonite with Choice Band at Extreme Speed is locked into a move it cannot use on Calyrex.
I think the only win con for Austin, besides would be struggling, but I don't think he's going to try that route, and we are going to see Matthew take game 1.
That was incredible right there. Matthew was in... It looked early, Matthew was in a very disadvantageous position, but he managed to find his outs, he played them properly, and he set it up to where his restricted Pokemon, he got the... I think maybe he was even trying to get the Terra Normal out on that Dragonite too, because he knew if he could keep Calyrex around just long enough, that he would be able to force that 1v1, and Dragonite would be locked into a move it could not use.
Especially looking at the rest of the move that Dragonite has, having Low Kick and Outrage, 2 moves that can only hit one of the opposing mons, Outrage for the Calyrex Shadow Rider and Low Kick against the Clefairy. It's very difficult, especially with Outrage just going into either one of the targets, but more importantly, the 4th move on Dragonite is not your regular Aerial Ace or any other flying type, it's Aqua Jet.
Oh, it's Aqua Jet.
It's Aqua Jet because of the rain.
That is such a smart adjustment by Austin. I mean, yes, you're sacrificing a flying type move, but at the same time, you're keeping the Outrage power. And we saw how powerful Outrage can be when it wants to hit the target you want it to hit.
Yeah, exactly. And Outrage would be perfect for that scenario, except if it wasn't Clefairy on the final piece of the board. But it's going to be very interesting to see how these players make any changes to it, because Matthew understands his team very well and what he needs to do, but I don't know what Austin could bring in that could definitely disrupt Matthew's game plan. Maybe the Amoonguss, maybe the Archaludon. It's going to be interesting to see.
It will be, but we're going to see. Will Matthew Laughlin punch his ticket to the finals, or will Austin Latovsky force the first game 3 of this top cut bracket?
Honestly, I'm excited to see, and we do get to see an adjustment off of Austin's side. It is the Kyogre and the Amoonguss, but Matthew is also making the adjustment, bringing in his own restricted as well, with Calyrex Shadow Rider next to the beautiful cat known as Incineroar.
I believe that's also Wolf Glick's favorite Pokemon, Jonathan. I believe so.
I've heard many tales of such things, but at the end of the day, that Incineroar having that fake out pressure is gonna be what's more important, and why he likes the cat.
I have no idea, but what's important to note on Matthew's side is that this Incineroar has the safety goggles. So, in theory, Matthew can go for a fake out into either Pokemon he chooses, while he can get Calyrex a Calm Mind potentially, and he opts to go for the fake out into the Amoonguss. Take a little Rocky Helmet damage there.
Yeah, a little
but
bit.
Get that Calm Mind off.
That Calyrex is going into its Zen mode, increasing its special attack and its special defenses by 1, being able to also withstand a little bit of hits. We do see the Origin Pulse coming out of Calyrex, Kyogre. It will be picking up the KO onto Incineroar, but of course, because of that Calm Mind, that Calyrex is sitting right above half HP.
Right after that Citrus Berry recovery, getting a nice berry and more recovery, that always goes a long way.
Yeah, being able to recover most of its HP that it's lost. And it's going to be interesting of what Matthew brings. We do see the Urshifu possibly could be coming out trying to take advantage of the rain. But if not, it could just bring in that Clefairy to increase its defense and also its firepower.
It very well could be. And we do see that is the option that Matthew has chosen. He brings the Clefairy out here and is looking at potentially going with that Helping Hand. We saw how much damage a +1 Helping Hand without the boost from Calm Mind did, because it already had the boost due to the Grim Neigh.
Exactly. And with just the fact that it's not really a good position for Austin here because of the Clefairy. It does have that Terra Grass, and if he decides to try to put that Clefairy to sleep or to follow me that Spore, it could just ignore the entirety of Amoonguss' game plan, which is to put the opposing monster to sleep.
It very well could be here, but we do see that Matthew has opted to activate his Terrastal Orb, and he fires it in the direction of this Clefairy, and Clefairy has done a little gardening, Jonathan. It has become a grass type.
It is a little bit of a sprout Pokemon this time around with a little bit of the flowers coming out, but it's going to be giving us the Helping Hand to the Calyrex Shadow Rider to increase its firepower, and oh boy, is there any protects on the side of Austin? No, there is not.
There is the Astral Barrage +1 Helping Hand. Kyogre survives, but Amoonguss does not.
The Amoonguss is going down. No Spore, no Sludge, but the Calyrex powers increases. Origin Pulse lands onto both the Calyrex and the Clefairy, but it's not enough.
Refresh my memory. Has that Origin Pulse missed yet?
It has not, but I don't think it's going to matter as much. Chien-Pao is coming into the field, has its Sash, so it's able to withstand one of the Astral Barrage, but if it goes for that Draining Kiss into that slot, it's going to recover most of its HP.
It very well could be, but we also have to keep in mind that with the potential for that Follow Me, Chien-Pao can't really click Sucker Punch freely. It can go for something like a Throat Chop now because it's not resisted by the Clefairy. It's a neutral effect, but it could also go for the Ice Spinner, which is super effective.
Yeah, being able to do massive amount of damage into that Clefairy because of its Terra Grass, but we are going to see both of Matthew Pond go for a Protect. Ice Spinner is going to go into the Clefairy spot, and I do think we are going to probably see another Origin Pulse coming out of the Kyogre.
It is another Origin Pulse coming out, and when it hits Protects, it misses. But for some reason, it has not missed yet for Austin, which is very good for him because that's an 85% accurate move, spread move in the rain.
It's looking a little bit tough for Austin, and I think we're just going to see another Helping Hand Astral Barrage from the side of Matthew, unless he believes that it is important to go for that Follow Me, reading into that Sucker Punch.
It is possible. We do see the Follow Me come out. Clefairy became the center of attention. Astral Barrage does come out. It will take down this Kyogre, and Chien-Pao is brought just below its or just above its Focus Sash.
Sadly, it's not going to be able to use it because it needs to be at full HP. The Calyrex is going back to +3, and the Ice Spinner is going to be going into that Clefairy spot, being able to knock it out, removing that Friend Guard, but it comes down to what is in the back of Austin. If it's the Archaludon, I don't think it's going to be beneficial to him. It's more than likely that Dragonite.
And if it is that Dragonite, that's going to be absolutely massive. Because if Dragonite is there, and we do see it is not the Dragonite, but rather the Urshifu.
That's going to be interesting to see. Being able to take advantage of the rain is what it is good for, but we do see Matthew's also Urshifu. The only difference of each one is Sash, while Austin's is Scarf.
And that's going to probably be the difference here. Because Matthew could potentially go for something like what a Calm Mind or a Protect. I mean, you don't want to Protect in front of Urshifu, but a Calm Mind could potentially scout out that Throat Chop.
I think what Matthew might want to go for is go for that Aqua Jet onto the Chien-Pao to remove its damage, calling if Austin's going to go for that Surging Strikes. If it does, Chien-Pao's Swords of Ruin ability is going to go away, which is going to make it more difficult for Austin in the 1v1.
That is very true, because I believe this is the last turn of the rain, too.
And if Austin goes for that Surging Strike, which it has to, but it's going for Sucker Punch.
To break the focus sash. And Urshifu goes for Aqua Jet into the Chen Pao actually here. So now it remains to be seen, what did Austin click into Matthew? And it's the Surging Strikes into the Calyrex. A critical hit guaranteed and knocks out the Calyrex. And now it's a battle of the bears.
This is going to be very interesting, but I think looking at each turn, how it's playing out, I don't think there's a chance for Matthew to come back unless it gets a crit. You can't really go for close combat because it's just going to lower the defenses, and your only choice is go for Surging Strikes and hope to put in a range that you can live Austin's Surging Strikes and then be able to go for a close combat and hope for a crit.
And we do see that Austin's Surging Strikes is going first on this turn, brings it to 73. This will be very close. It might come down to how much attack Matthew has put into his Urshifu here, and that's doing a decent amount of damage. It might do just above 25, maybe 30% after the Surging Strikes. It might be very close on a close combat.
It's going to be a little bit close to call. It's going to depend on how powerful this Urshifu is. Close combat on each side is more than likely what's going to happen, but we are... Oh, no, never mind. I forgot. It's Scarf.
It's Scarf Surging Strikes.
My bad.
So it comes down to Austin getting that KO here, because if he doesn't, and this close combat KOs on Matthew's side, then Matthew advances to the finals here. However, there's also one thing to note. Let's see what happens here.
It's gonna pick up.
Out. Urshifu is down. Our 7 seed, Matthew Laughlin, has made it to the final.
He's been away from the scene for a little bit, and now he is coming back and showing what he is made. Being able to lock himself into finals is extremely impressive.
That was an absolute masterclass in top 4 between Matthew and Austin. And Matthew just played incredible all throughout. And Urshifu getting the KO with Surging Strikes, with close combat there. What I was going to say was, if close combat didn't knock out Urshifu afterwards, that's where Matthew's Urshifu had the advantage with that Aqua Jet in the end game.
You're right. Being able to just pick any move compared to being locked into just because of the choice item is what saved Matthew in this set. And honestly, it's impressive to see how this team's gone, but it's also showed the reason why Calyrex Shadow Rider is seen as the top dog, or more likely the top horse.
Yeah, give or take. And also, it just keeps on proving why Calyrex, both forms, mostly the Shadow Rider, but in the case of Patrick Connors, we love Patrick Connors, the Ice Rider. Calyrex are very healthy for the meta game, and also Urshifu. Urshifu is just as healthy.
Yeah, they're both healthy.
They are very good Pokemon
ways.
In the meta game.
They're interesting in their own ways.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take.
I enjoy using them.
They're nice, and honestly, I'm really happy we were able to see these play matches set. But just stick anywhere, because when we come back, we're gonna be watching that finals of the Oviedo Cup.
So don't go anywhere.